Nicole Kidman has made her first public appearance since her split from Keith Urban.
Through a lot together.
After nearly 2 decades of picture-perfect love, Nicole Kidman is revealing the truth behind her shattered marriage to Keith Urban and what really pushed her to walk away. For years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban are the couple everyone believes will last forever. An Oscar-winning actress and a country music legend, two Australians who defy the odds, building a life of fame, family, and flawless red carpets. But now, the fairy tale is over. Behind the carefully rehearsed smiles and the glittering award nights, something breaks. Court documents confirm what fans fear. Nicole files for divorce after 19 years of marriage. In public, both remain calm. But away from the cameras, insiders say their story is far from simple. Because for nearly 2 decades, Nicole and Keith fight battles no one sees. Between love and addiction, control and freedom, silence and survival. Tonight, Nicole Kidman steps out without her wedding ring, her expression unreadable, her eyes distant. For the first time in years, she walks alone. And as headlines explode, the question echoes around the world. What really happened between Hollywood's golden couple? To understand, we have to go back to where this story truly begins, before the heartbreak, before the fame, before the two even meet. Nicole Mary Kidman is born in Honolulu, Hawaii, to Australian parents who were living abroad. Her father, Anthony Kidman, is a respected psychologist and biochemist. Her mother, Janelle, a nurse and educator. From the start, discipline and intellect shape her world. But young Nicole is shy, painfully shy. She blushes when called on in class, her voice trembling. Yet beneath that quiet exterior lives a powerful imagination. Performance becomes her refuge. Ballet, school plays, community theater, each one gives her permission to speak emotions she otherwise can't. And as the Australian film industry starts to rise, she seizes her moment. By her teens, she's already working. TV movies, small roles, auditions that test her resilience more than her talent. Then, in the mid-1980s, Hollywood calls, and Nicole answers. The girl who once hides behind her hair now stands under the blinding lights of fame. What no one knows then is that behind her elegant posture and porcelain smile is a heart already scarred. Because before Keith Urban, before the cameras, Nicole lived through another story of love and loss, one that will shape every choice she makes. She meets Tom Cruise on the set of Days of Thunder. They fall in love instantly, the kind of love the tabloids call destiny. But destiny for Nicole soon turns into control. Behind closed doors, her world shrinks. The marriage gives her visibility, but takes something deeper. When it ends, in 2001, she loses not just her husband, but primary custody of their 2 adopted children. It is a wound that never fully heals. And it's this wound, this quiet grief, that she carries when she finally meets Keith Urban, a man who seems to offer everything she has lost.
I've got a timeline for it now, and the time it's now.
2 dreamers, 2 survivors, both searching for redemption in each other's arms. It's 2005, Los Angeles. The G'Day USA Gala is in full swing, a night meant to celebrate Australians making their mark in Hollywood. Under chandeliers and camera flashes, Nicole Kidman, now one of the most respected actresses in the world, stands poised in a silver gown. Across the room, Keith Urban tunes his guitar before performing for the guests. 2 stars, 2 worlds. But for a brief moment, they collide. He's polite, charming, and a little reserved. She later admits she doesn't think he's interested. He doesn't call for months. But when he finally does, something clicks. What begins as quiet curiosity quickly turns into something electric. Within weeks, they're inseparable. For Nicole, Keith feels like a second chance. After years of heartbreak and control, she finds freedom in his rawness. He's passionate, unfiltered, the opposite of the carefully constructed Hollywood machine she escaped. And for Keith, she's everything he's ever wanted: grace, stability, and belief in him when he struggles to believe in himself. By the end of the year, they are head over heels. Red carpets, interviews, smiles that seem almost too perfect. The press calls them Australia's golden couple. But behind those headlines, two fragile hearts are trying to heal each other the only way they know how, through love. In June 2006, just over a year after they meet, they marry at a candlelit church in Sydney. She walks down the aisle in a Balenciaga gown, tears in her eyes. He serenades her at the reception with trembling hands on his guitar. The crowd cheers, the cameras flash. It looks like a fairy tale. But fairy tales have shadows, and theirs appear early. 4 months after the wedding, Keith checks into rehab. The world gasps. The perfect love story suddenly feels fragile. For Nicole, it's a painful déjà vu. Another man, another battle she can't control. But she stands by him, quietly, faithfully, refusing to let the tabloids define them. He later says her love saved his life. And maybe it did, but love built on rescue always comes with a cost. Together, they push forward. She returns to filming, starring in Australia and Rabbit Hole. He dives back into music, racking up Grammys and touring the world. To outsiders, they are unbreakable. But even then, their lives are already starting to pull in different directions. Late nights on the road, long months apart. She builds her home around their daughters, Sunday and Faith. He builds his around stages and spotlights. From the outside, it's balance. Inside, it's distance. Still, for nearly 20 years, they fight to keep the story alive. The story of redemption, of a love that conquers chaos. But the cracks are beginning to show, and soon, no amount of music or devotion will be enough to drown out the silence growing between them. By the time Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban reach their 10th anniversary, their love story is legend. They've survived rehab, distance, and fame. Yet beneath the polished smiles, the tension is quietly mounting. Years of sacrifice begin to weigh on them both. Nicole wants peace, a steady home, a rhythm her children can depend on. Keith thrives on movement, the road, the crowd, the unpredictable rush of performance. They're orbiting the same dream, but in different directions. He tours for months at a time, returning home to find her deep in another film project. She flies to London or Paris for shoots, balancing scripts, motherhood, and constant media attention. Each time they reunite, it feels less like coming home and more like visiting a memory. To the outside world, everything looks perfect. On red carpets, they laugh. He whispers in her ear. She touches his hand. But insiders notice the difference. The way she now looks through him, not at him. The way his jokes seem rehearsed, his affection a performance more than a confession. Friends describe a quiet exhaustion settling in. Nicole, ever composed, grows weary of always being the anchor. Keith, sensitive and proud, hates the feeling of being saved. They love each other deeply, but they are no longer sustaining each other. Still, they refuse to give up the image. To their fans, they represent hope, that love can conquer addiction, that fame can coexist with family, and for a while, they convince even themselves. At home, the small cracks widen. Nicole is strict with routines, early dinners, quiet nights, structured days for their daughters. Keith is spontaneous, playful, the fun parent. Their differences are harmless at first, even complimentary, but over time, they turn into quiet divides. She feels undermined, he feels judged. And when the world begins whispering that their marriage might be faltering, they close ranks. She appears on talk shows, smiling, saying they've never been stronger. He thanks her publicly at award shows, his voice cracking with emotion. But in private, the silence is louder than ever. They're not fighting for each other anymore. They're fighting to hold on to the picture everyone else still believes in. For nearly 20 years, they protect that image like a secret garden, beautiful from the outside, but wilting at the roots. And by the time the rumors of separation start to circle, neither one has the strength to deny them for long. By 2025, the whispers are no longer whispers. Paparazzi photos tell the story for them. Nicole attending premieres alone. Keith spotted on tour without his wedding ring. The golden couple of Hollywood and Nashville is unraveling before everyone's eyes. When Nicole files for divorce in late September, the world freezes. 19 years of marriage, 2 daughters, countless red carpets, all reduced to a few words on paper. Irreconcilable differences. Insiders say the decision is heartbreakingly calm. No scandal, no explosive fight, just quiet resignation. Nicole, they say, has spent years trying to hold the family together, terrified of repeating the loss she felt after her first marriage. Keith, though still devoted, grows weary of feeling managed, watched, and corrected. They both love deeply, but they've run out of ways to love peacefully. Within days, Keith takes the stage again, his first public performance since the news breaks. Fans gasp when they notice his bare hand, no wedding ring. And then, something even more shocking. He changes the lyrics of his breakup anthem, twisting one line into something sharper, almost bitter. It's not a direct attack, but the message is unmistakable. His voice cracks mid-song, his pain spilling through the speakers. This isn't the charming, smiling Keith fans are used to. It's a man trying to process the end of a chapter he thought would last forever. And as he plays, the screen behind him flashes images of his daughters, Sunday and Faith, a silent reminder of what still anchors him. Meanwhile, Nicole remains silent. At a film festival appearance weeks later, she steps onto the red carpet alone. No ring, no statement. Just the familiar grace she's known for, but this time her eyes tell a story of exhaustion and resolve. The tabloids feast on the contrast. Keith, emotional and raw on stage, Nicole poised and unreadable under the cameras. But the truth, as always, is more complicated. He is grieving. She is surviving. The divorce documents reveal that Nicole seeks primary custody of their daughters. There's no fight over money. Both waive spousal and child support, proof that they've long led independent financial lives. Keith agrees, quietly, knowing his relentless touring makes full-time parenting impossible. A source close to them says it best. He adores those girls. Letting go isn't about love, it's about reality. In the weeks that follow, Nicole withdraws from the spotlight, focusing on her daughters and work. She's seen walking through Nashville hand in hand with them, calm, collected, but fiercely protective. For her, healing means building a world she can control again, a life defined not by saving someone else, but by safeguarding what remains. Keith, on the other hand, turns his pain into music. Every performance becomes a confession, every lyric a wound reopened. Fans describe his shows as heartbreak in motion, louder, rawer, and strangely freeing. Two people, once united by hope, now moving through the wreckage in their own ways. And maybe, in that, there's a final kind of harmony. Because sometimes love doesn't end, it just changes shape. And for Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban, what remains is respect, shared history, and the love they'll always carry for the family they built together. As the dust begins to settle, the story of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban feels less like a tragedy and more like a mirror. A reminder that even the most perfect love stories carry their storms. For nearly 20 years, they give the world a reason to believe that fame and devotion can coexist. And maybe, for a while, they do. They raise 2 daughters with tenderness. They show up for each other through rehab, distance, and the constant pull of 2 demanding careers. But in the end, even love like theirs needs space to breathe. Nicole now stands as she began, poised, strong, and quietly determined to protect her peace. Keith, the eternal troubadour, keeps singing his heart out, his songs echoing with gratitude and loss. Their paths may no longer run side by side, but they still move in rhythm, one through grace, the other through music. For those who've watched them from the beginning, it's bittersweet. Because while the fairy tale has ended, the respect remains. And perhaps that's what real love looks like. Not the one that lasts forever, but the one that teaches you who you truly are. The story of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban isn't about a broken marriage. It's about two people who loved, learned, and finally let each other go.